Hi, how's it going, guys? We're here talking some Penn State football. I gotta say, I'm kind of excited for what next year could be. Even if we're not the best team in the world, I just hope we'll be able to gather together and watch our football teams in person next year. Um, I think for James Franklin, his goal going into the offseason to just be distress, making sure this team can get back to a 10-win season or better for 2021. We don't need to have a national championship season or a playoff season even to try and further this program. Right now, if we can get back to what we were, because we took a step back this season, we took a step back. If we need to get back to what we were, and also we're going to have to be able to recruit very well for the 2022 class. Right now, we're ranked third in the 2022 class. Obviously, that's very early. A lot's going to happen between now and National Signing Day a year from now. Hopefully, we can hold a ranking somewhere around there. It'll be tough to do, obviously, with as much competition there is for recruits, but we have a really good Pennsylvania class right now, and we need to be able to keep these guys in state and go to Penn State. We can't let these guys go to other schools, specifically like Ohio State or Wisconsin, like we lost out on Julian Fleming and Nolan Rucci. And, you know, we need to be able to keep these guys close to home. Um, and going into next season, it'll be interesting to see how many guys come back if they either leave early for the NFL or the seniors that have now an extra year of eligibility because of COVID. It'll be interesting to see who comes back and who doesn't. Shane Simmons already said he's not coming back. Jaquan Brisker has taken the Senior Bowl invitation, so that basically means that he's going to the NFL. Um, Shaka Toney and Jason Owe, I can almost guarantee they're going to be off to the NFL. I think a big thing is going to be the O line. Um, the O line is going to be a big factor. I think Rasheed Walker and Michael Menet are two guys that you could see go to the pros. I don't know if they're actually good enough to be drafted real early, but we'll see. Um, Will Fries, this is going to be his last year, but then the extra year of eligibility he has now will be interesting to see what he does. Mike Miranda should be back. Caden Wallace will definitely be back. CJ Thorpe's kind of interesting. He might transfer because he was a starter and then he hasn't really gotten as much time this year. So I feel like we have a lot of depth, especially bringing in Landon Tangwall next year. He'll be ready to go, I think, right away. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the O line. Receiver Jahan Dotson, even if he does leave early, I think we'll have a couple good options in Keandre Lambert and Parker Washington. Obviously, it'd be really nice if Dotson comes back though. That'll give us a really good target for Clifford. I assume Clifford's going to be the starting quarterback again next year. I mean, they could go out and get somebody in the transfer portal, but I think that he's the best option we're going to have. I don't think we're going to find anybody in the transfer market that is better than him. And considering that Clifford's been in this offense now for 2 years, well, I guess now 1 year because Straka came in, but still he's worked with Penn State for 2 years now as a starter, and bringing in somebody new, I don't know if I want to go through this learning curve with another quarterback, even if he is about as good as Clifford is. Um, Levis, I wonder what they're going to do with Levis because Levis, I'm sure he doesn't want to be just a guy that comes in on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 and just runs the ball. I think Levis probably wants to be a little more than that. I think he might want to transfer. I don't know. We'll see. You know how it is with quarterbacks. If you're not starting, you're going to want to try and transfer somewhere where you could start. Um, and I feel like that's exactly what Levis is probably thinking about right now. I've always said he's kind of like a Tommy Stevens 2.0. We hear a lot of great things about him. He gets some time in weird situations. Is with he gets the ball. He's considered a really good runner, but he's not considered as good as the guy in front of him. Uh, but Clifford's definitely not Trace McSorley, though. I would not compare the exact same situation, but still, it's one of those things that you look at for next season, the first game of the season will be against Wisconsin. Um, so I think we'll find out about this team right away next year. We're not going to be going up against some crappy opponent. We're going to be going up against Wisconsin on the road. Hopefully, it'll look like exactly what you see on your screen there, full house. Even though that would work against us, I still would love to see a full house in a Big Ten stadium like Wisconsin. And I think that that would be just a great indicator of where we are because I think right now we're kind of lost as a program in the sense that, you know, we went 4-5. We won four in a row to end the season. We don't really know exactly how good we are. We don't know how much COVID affected things and whether we'll be able to just bounce back easily next year. Or we don't know if this was a serious thing that is going to last for a few years. And hopefully it's a former, but we'll have to find out. And I think the first game this season against Wisconsin next year will be a great indication of that. And I think that we'll have some guys coming back, especially a running back. We just got this transfer running back from Baylor. I can't exactly think. I think it's John Lovett. Yeah, John Lovett. And he was actually pretty good for Baylor. He started for him. He only played 5 games for him this year. Didn't have as good of a season as what he did the previous two for Baylor. He was really good for Baylor the previous 2 seasons. He averaged, I think, 5 or 6 yards per carry. Um, did a really good job. I think he was on some award watch lists, and I think he's a guy that can come in and get a lot of playing time. He's a veteran presence, and as this season showed, you can never have enough depth at running back. We thought we had a ton of depth at running back, which we do, because even when um, Journey Brown and Noah Kane went down, who are two of the best backs probably in the Big Ten, um, we still had capable options to put in there, and they did fine, like Kevon Lee, Devin Ford, and now we're just adding to that depth. We have a ton of it. We're getting Noah Kane back next year. He'll probably be the starter. So at running back, we should be more than fine. Receiver, we should be okay. Uh, O line, I think will be all right, or at least as good as we were this year. I want to see an improvement, but I don't see us taking a step back. Um, hopefully we won't. But I didn't see us taking a step back this year in the O line either, which I think we might have, or at least very inconsistent this year on the O line. And a tight end, Pat Freiermuth already declared for the NFL. Not surprising. Um, that's okay. Brenton Strange has looked just fine when he's been in, and hopefully he'll just get better and better. And then the secondary, Tyree Castro Fields should be coming back, I think. He hasn't really showed anything. I think that NFL scouts will say, okay, I want to draft him early, or if they do draft him, he might be a sixth or seventh rounder. I don't think that's what he should want. I think he should want to come back and try and work his draft stock up. Donovan Johnson, a guy who got injured in training camp. He has just been riddled with injuries in his career. He's a talented guy, would have been a starting corner this season if he didn't get injured, but hopefully he'll be able to go next season and play. Joey Porter Jr. having a year under his belt now, hopefully he'll just get better and better, realize his full potential because he looked good at many points across the season. Lamont Wade, it'll be interesting to see what he does. He's been a nice veteran leader on our defense. It'd be great to have him back at safety, especially since Jaquan Brisker left. It'd be nice to have at least one safety back. And I think we have enough depth in the secondary that we'll be fine. But and we'll bring back all our linebackers. I think Ellis Brooks, Jesse Luketa should both come back. Brandon Smith can't leave early. Um, then we have some depth behind Charlie Catchier, Curtis Jacobs, Lance Dixon, um, Zariah Fisher. So yeah, I think we'll be fine at just about every single area of our team. It's just a matter of realizing our potential or not. And I think it's also a matter of how good will our quarterback play be. Because I feel like we have the guys at a bunch of positions, but if Clifford struggles, it's hard to win games. We're gonna need Clifford to. Like, I think Clifford has a really high upside. It's just that he just doesn't look right sometimes, and sometimes he looks like he's a really good quarterback. It's just it's he fluctuates between good and bad on a dime, and it's not a good thing. I want to see him find some consistency and be able to do really well. I thought last year in 2019, I thought he was really good. I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten last year. He wasn't, Justin Fields, but he was a guy that was able to do some pretty good things in the Big Ten. And this season, he didn't really show, I don't think, things that he did in 2019. I think he just looked kind of worse. And I hope to see better play from him next year, and hopefully he can at least get back to what he was in 2019 and maybe even be better next year. But we'll see. All right, well, thank you guys. We are Penn State.